Hello!
Hello,
Welcome.
hello.
Welcome to
Good
a
to see
new
everybody
episode.
again.
Figures not included. Mike and Ed
Welcome.
here. Welcome to die. How
You
you
always
doing,
want to
Ed?
kill off people.
How's it
I'm
going,
good.
man? You
I'm
good?
doing really good. Had a good weekend. Got to do
Yeah.
some fun stuff, some laughs. Got to get some toys. What about yourself?
Same thing. Not as many toys. Like getting new toys feels like a really rare thing right now. It's a little scary out there, a little murky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, Larry, of course, not here with us. He's gone back to be with the Force.
Yep.
So God
He
rest
couldn't
his soul.
maintain his spirit form
It's very hard
for
to
more
maintain
than
that.
one episode, so
Yeah.
we had to do something drastic, right?
We had to pull him in to make some calls, call in some favors, and so we decided to do that. And so we welcome to the show the one and only Mr. Wade Merrick himself.
Hi.
Unparalleled.
Hello.
Hello, hi friend.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing, old sport, old chum?
I'm good.
You look
Good to
great.
have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for
Share
having
your
me.
wisdom and knowledge with us.
Whatever you might have left of that to share. So
Yeah, not much.
a little bit. You got a little bit.
I've said all I've had to say. I've been doing live streams for like 5, 6 years. I don't have anything interesting to say. No information. I don't have anything.
I mean, you've been doing a good job. You've been doing it for 5 years. So you got something to say.
I've been winging it for at least 2. Like, yeah,
That's a long time.
Hey, if it
And
works, right?
yeah, it's working so far.
it's
Like my
working.
wife says, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I mean, faking it for 6 years. I mean, at some point, you got to become a profession at it.
Don't fake it till you can't take it. Is what I say.
Professional faker.
Yeah.
I got that tattooed on my lower back.
Sticker.
Oh, tramp stamp.
We're bringing it back. I think it's time
Yeah.
to bring stuff back. Are you throwing toilet paper around? What's going on?
No, my daughter made me like a diffuser for one of my lights.
Oh, okay. Hey, speaking of which, your new setup looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah, still working on it, as you guys know.
Just a
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
background.
So, yeah, work in progress. My cousin put purple lights in your honor.
Wait, can you
Purple.
hem the bottom?
So I,
Wonderful,
I didn't I
wonderful.
didn't do that because that's
Gonna be ugly.
I'm not gonna pander to our guests like that. So I
However you do
I
it.
stick with my individual lights. So he's doing something else. But yeah, welcome to Figure Not Included, man. I've been wanting to talk to you. So much craziness has happened in just the toy community world for the last. I mean, it feels like just a month, and everything's gone to shit.
Oh
But
yeah, it's all everything's all jacked up.
you've been able to maintain yourself and kind of keep your sanity through it all.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like for the last like I want to say for the last like 6 years, probably we've been in like this golden age of action figure collecting. So it's like there's no shortage of cool things out there to appreciate and get into. Like
Hmm.
yeah, like I've said, I kind of get more concerned about the community aspect. Like, there's never going to be a shortage of things to buy. Maybe there's not going to be a new thing out every 5 seconds like there has been for the last couple years. But I mean, there's just still so much already out there, and I'm sure that there'll be some companies around still doing their thing. So
And like you say, there's lots of stuff out there and there's lots of stuff to buy. But what do you think about like price wise? How is this hitting your wallet? Are you because I think a lot of people are concerned with the collecting market right now just because it's getting so expensive to collect. And people who are, very into it and love buying all the different, things that are put out there are feeling the strain. I mean, have you been feeling anything besides, when you go to the restroom?
whoa, hey, yo, cost wise, I mean, cost wise, not yet, but I haven't been buying a whole lot of new stuff. I'm trying to think of like new things that I purchased recently. Yeah, like certain, I can't remember the last. I don't even know the most recent like new figure that I picked up. Oh, the deep like this third party Spider-Man, which that price is what it is. That something like that's not going to be too affected by this whole thing at
Right.
this point, but. Uh, Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the beauty about going back and appreciating some old stuff because some of the older stuff, the prices aren't really going to increase.
Yeah, the vintage market is always good, and I think that's what a lot of people are falling back on right now, just because the uncertainty of what new stuff is going to happen and how much the prices are going to be. A lot of emails going out about prices possibly going up when the figures arrive. So I think a lot of people are just kind of either stepping away from pre-ordering anything new just because they don't know how much they're going to end up paying for it,
Yeah,
and maybe seeing what's just available now without having to worry about bringing it overseas.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Or you can't even pre-order. If you go to Hasbro Pulse, they took out down all their pre-orders, so who knows what's
Exactly.
gonna happen.
And
That's
when the big
all.
companies are doing it, I mean, there's gonna be a problem. And so I wonder what's it gonna look like, like a couple months from now? Are people gonna be like, I can't find anything, or are they just gonna be like, I just can't afford it because I'm paying double, triple what these figures used to cost?
Yeah.
And is that gonna really impact the toy market?
Mhm.
Community, as you say as well, because if you're not out, collecting and being able to share all this cool stuff, what's going to happen? Are people just going to get sour and be like upset about it, and we're just going to hear about a lot of complaining, or are people going to find ways to still enjoy this hobby?
I think people are gonna move on because like a lot of people that are in the hobby now that are into collecting aren't toy guys who've been around forever. Like there was a huge influx during COVID and post COVID. Like everybody, so many people started collecting. I don't know how many of those people are gonna stick around, but there's been like um I don't know. I know Mikey has collected things forever because you were like into like DC, UC, and all like all those guys from that era.
Yeah.
I'm sure will stick around because we've seen the droughts and all that for over the years, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if like these new jacks are gonna stick around.
Yeah, it could have been just like a niche thing that you get into for a few years, and then if things get too expensive or it's too hard to get the things you would want to get, then what's the point anymore? If
Yeah.
it's something that you really care about.
You've
So
seen this happen a lot in other markets too. People just get kind of fed up with either not finding stuff or paying too much for it, and they walk away. So, we might just get left off with the people that are strong enough to hold on and deal with the issues that really love the hobby.
Yeah.
And, I think that will be, an important thing to wait and see how that pans out because I know a lot of people are thinking a lot about what the future looks like for this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
yeah, 100%. So anyway, there is always new stuff coming, and we like talking about
For
it here.
now.
For now, and then let's talk about some new stuff that's coming through the pipeline with Hot Toy News.
All right.
Wade, your boy Loose Collector is just like, killing it with all sorts of stuff, and he just revealed. Well, this just came out recently. Just some new reveals, some 3D renders of these Youngblood figures. Man,
Guy's gonna give you the shaft.
I dig these a lot. I've been wanting like image figures for the longest time, and so now we're sort of getting there with Youngblood. Ed, you were a big image fan back in the day. I know Wade.
Yeah,
I don't know if you were into
I
image.
was there at the inception. I followed the whole thing. I was into comic books in the 90s
Oh,
when
nice.
Jim Lee and McFarlane, all those decided to jump ship, create Image Comics. I remember picking up some of those first issues coming in, Wildcats and Youngblood, Savage Dragon, Shadowhawk. What was the other one? And I remember actually one of the first ones I got was Spawn from your brother. Actually, he's the one who found it first, and he was like, "Hey, check out this amazing comic book I just found." And we looked at it, and it's like, "Damn, this is
OG,
amazing."
OG, bros, and
And
OG.
so yeah, it was really cool. And honestly, man, for me, that is like the heyday, the coolest part I remember of collecting comic books back in the day, just all these amazing artists, because this was all artist driven, all the best artists jump ship and started their own books with their like amazing talent. And they took all like the things that were making comic books cool at the time and just kind of infused it into their own creations. And we got some really neat stuff, kind of like Youngblood here, even though Liefeld has still always struggled with the feet and the hands, he managed to put together a pretty cool looking team here and did some really, really cool stuff
No
with these
feet in this
characters.
cover, no feet whatsoever, and the
He always
hands
found a
are
way to
just
hide those things.
yeah, hide those monstrosities. Wade, were you into Image back in the day?
Well, I was really young when the whole image thing happened, but it's funny because I was, a reason why the image thing blew up the way it did is because like little kids, like all like obviously there was the whole people that were into the whole movement of like what image did with the artists and all those guys jumping ship. Like there was the comic book heads that were a little bit older that could get into that. But like kids my age, like me and all my friends and cousins and all that loved all these characters. Like I didn't have any of the comics, but I remember I had a lot of the trading cards and the figures. Not so much from were there figures
I
of
remember figures of Youngblood.
there was, I
There,
think they had an animated show, and then at that point, I think they started making figures.
there were figures that McFarlane made for them.
Oh, no,
And,
there was
the
some
only
other one.
animated show I remember was the Jim Lee's Wildcats. They were able I think he was the only one that really jumped into another media and
Oh,
did
Wildcats, yeah, that's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
and did cartoons and stuff like that. There you
Sorry.
go.
That's
Little
it.
preview.
Yeah.
That's a classic song, but yeah, it was really amazing, and some of these, these characters are just like screaming 90s, and to see
Yeah.
them come back, because I've always said this is a great pool to pull, pull from, I guess. I remember when Toy Biz, after they lost or sold the Marvel license to Hasbro, they started doing image stuff, and we got some stuff like Savage Dragon. I think we got the Max. Did we get a
No,
Max figure in that? No, it wasn't. Who came out in their
there was
line?
Iron
Yep,
Patriot, there was
yeah, that was
Cyber.
for us. And Witchblade.
Yeah, Pit was one of the Build-A-Figures, Monkey Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
There
have
was a bunch
Pit
of
The
really
somewhere.
darkness.
the
I don't know if
dark
you
is
could.
one of my favorite ones. I actually have him floating around here. Where'd he go?
I sold you my darkness.
Yeah, I sold that thing for a pretty penny. Thanks, Michael.
I regret it.
Yeah, those are Build-A-Figures that, like, I never could complete. Like, I had them in pieces several times over the years, just, short of a few pieces, and then just ended up selling them.
Yeah,
Ain't
the
that
Pit
life?
is a very coveted piece right now. I actually have one at the store, and I don't even put a price on him. I just leave them there, and everyone comes through and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at that thing! That thing is so cool. Who is that?" Or the people who know, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the Pit. How much is it? How much is it?" And he goes for a good amount, so no one's picked him up yet. Thankfully, my hope is that one day he can sneak home with me, and my wife will never find out, and I can add him to my shelf.
I mean, you have a master toy room. You can hide so much stuff in there that she'll
I
never
know
catch
she'll
on.
never know. She'll
She
never.
doesn't listen to the podcast, so it's just like this is like a confessional,
Yeah,
So
I could hide a dead body in here. I don't think I'll get caught.
Oh,
I think it'd be fine. I'll build a figure their body.
yeah.
All the pieces, put it together.
Right?
Yeah. So Die Hard looks really cool. I mean, again, it's like the Rob Liefeld, just a bunch of pouches and different, you know, pieces around their
Love the
body that makes
pouches.
no sense whatsoever, but it looks awesome. I think that one looks really cool. And then you have a Shaft over here.
Shaft. That was the leader. He was like the main dude. Everyone loves Shaft. He was pretty cool. I mean, it was a
Oh,
really cool design, coming off of stuff like Green Arrow and Hawkeye and stuff like that. Real
a little bit
archer
of
based.
Shatterstar in there.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, look at that.
really
Hey, I like
cool.
what he did with the hands, with the arrow holding hands. I just
Yeah.
noticed
Oh,
that.
yeah. Put the arrows
That's
inside the hand. That looks really cool because
That's
no
a
one's
really
ever
good
gotten
idea.
it right. No one can ever get the bow and arrow and the aesthetic right. It always gets messed up somehow.
Yeah. They make like really big fat arrows that you can't hold, or hands that you can't really put it on the bow properly.
Or they don't even
Um,
try. Like Hasbro
yeah.
just doesn't even try. They just
Yeah.
They just
they
try.
just
Yeah.
make it one big piece.
Yeah. Yeah, it never works. Yeah, but that looks cool. I mean, I know Wade, you've messed around with a lot of loose collector stuff. I mean, I've yet to get one piece. I mean, I'm thinking about Youngblood, but there's so much stuff that he does looks awesome. The Rocketeer, you played with that one, right? You
Yeah.
messed around with the Rocketeer. How's that?
I like it. I like it a lot. I have it right here, I think, or somewhere. No, over here. It's over here somewhere. But yeah, I like the Rocketeer a lot. I also really like his blood. I forget their names.
Yeah, what was the other line that he did? The
These guys
original
like
line?
Blood Strike and
Yeah,
whatever. Blood Wolf.
yeah.
Oh yeah, other image characters. Those are cool. I actually thought about picking those up, but I just never got around to doing it.
They're very cool. They do the job really well. Like as far as capturing that crazy 90s in your face pouches and big guns and muscles and all that, like it's perfect in that regard.
That's
Yeah,
great.
these were cool, especially that one. He was like a carbon copy of Cable,
Yeah.
as he was coming off of the X books and stuff. He's like, I'm just going to use these same aesthetics and create my own characters. And then
Why
we're like,
not? Just do it,
yeah, it works, right? And you can just kind of see
Mama's not
Cable
watching.
in that figure really easily.
Yeah, 100%. Is there any other image characters, any other comic book that you want to see done? Like if Loose Collector was like, okay, we can make Youngblood happen. Let's also make this happen. I think Wade, you've always wanted Savage Dragon, right?
Yeah, that would be the answer right there for me.
Yeah. What about you, Ned?
Honestly, I want to see a fully fledged out the Max line. We got teases with the Max through McFarlane, through Shocker Toys. I want to get the rest of those characters. I want to get Julie. What is it, Mister No? What was his name? More Mr. Gone. more Izzes, all the crazy characters
You were
that they
born
got.
in 1945. We don't know these characters you speak of from the Max. We're
Hey,
much
hey,
younger than you are.
those that were there know, and it's amazing. You guys have to go back, read the books, or watch the MTV animated series, which is phenomenal. It's actually on DVD on Amazon, I think, on
Oh,
sale. So pick that
Oh,
crap up
shit,
and
really?
watch it, man. Get yourself some education.
I might grab that too.
that's a
Yeah,
good. That's
it's
good call.
fantastic. You're
I
gonna thank me.
I remember. I think I didn't watch on my MTV because I was just too young, and I would have gotten the spanking for it. But I think you had the VHS, and I think I watched your copy, and
Yeah,
that thing was just brutal. It was like that. It was Eon Flux that was
Aeon
mixed into
Flux
the
was
whole
amazing.
MTV stuff. I
Yeah.
mean that was very like third eye opening sort of content.
Yeah. There was some actually really good animation that came out of Image Comics, even McFarlane did a Spawn on HBO that was fantastic,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, compared to the shitty movie that they made, I mean, the animated series was really, really good, very close to the comic book, and the voice, acting was awesome. I mean, that's another one to go back and watch because if you love that '90s shtick, you're gonna love those series for sure.
Yeah, yeah. You watched the '90s cartoon, right, Wade?
The Spawn, yeah, not
Yeah,
all of it, but, yeah, it was on, Amazon
HBO.
Prime for a minute there, and I was
It's
revisiting it.
on
I
it's
remember
on
back.
HBO Max.
Oh, it's on HBO Max?
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was an HBO show. It was an HBO show.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah,
originally was an HBO show.
Yep.
yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, again, I loved Spawn because I had the first remember, like, when he first came out with the first wave of figures? It was, like 5 figures or something, like, I wanna say it was Spawn, Clown, Medieval Spawn, and
Tremor,
Violator.
Oh, Tremor and Violator.
Oh,
Violator.
Tremor,
Mhm.
yeah, that was the other one. And I remember I had all those, so I loved him, and I was kinda like, "Oh, he's like Spider-Man, but dark and crazy." And I remember, like, I'd catch glimpses of that show, and it'd be one of those things where, like, I'm gonna get in trouble for watching you know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
I couldn't sit and get into the whole thing because I just catch a few minutes, like, before my mom would walk in the room or whatever.
Yeah, look,
She'd be
I
like, "How
think
come you're not watching porn?" You know, she's like that.
that's scrambled porn,
Could have
you're
been
okay.
worse, mom. It could be worse.
Could be
Yeah,
worse. Yeah, so this was the wave, the original wave
yeah,
of
that's the one I was talking about.
the clown, yeah, medieval spawn, and then yeah, Overkill. Yeah, that
Yeah,
thing
that
was
was him,
a
that's
mess.
right.
Man,
Over
that was such a game changer.
I
Yeah,
remember
McFarl
you could go to Costco. You guys probably don't have Costco over there, but
we got
I
Costco.
am
Costco.
well, he's in North Carolina. I'm in New York, so he's got all that.
Oh, we got Costco's galore.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I remember back in the day, you could go and buy,
living in
like,
Costco.
this whole set in Costco, and it'd be like a big like, it was like a big display kinda almost that you could buy that just had all 6 figures.
It's awesome.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I
I think
remember hunting down all the variants. There was like a gold spawn, there was like a ecto spawn, there was like a what other ones? All of them had some sort of weird color variation or something. There was like a black, or no, it was a red Violator you could order through, I think, McFarlane's
uh-huh.
Collectors Club. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Was Toddy like the first one to introduce like comic, how comics have variant covers? Was he the first one to really introduce like variant figures that way in toys?
That's a hard one to guess. I'm assuming there were other variations of toys. I remember there being variations of toys. I don't know if they were actually like chase figures, like you would remember from those lines, but I could say maybe, yeah, it could have
It
been
just
the one.
it just feels like it really applies to him because he's just like brings over the comic
Yeah, he
know-how.
did a good job of transcribing that over to action figures and stuff, and he's still doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him being the creator of that whole chase figure thing.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder if that could be. I could see it. And, I'll always have respect for Toddy, even though I don't give a shit about his toys. But I mean, that's the most polite way I can say it. But
But
Crazy, you're crazy.
it's so weird because, like, he does all this, like, innovative shit, and he's crazy, but then, like, he just takes so many shortcuts on the actual execution of the figures. It's weird.
yeah, and now he doesn't have it. Like he doesn't have a chance to like go in and try something else because he doesn't have the DC figure license anymore. That's
Yeah.
going to the country of Mattel. So
They might not be the best figures, but I do think he tries to combine like a really good aesthetic, and especially, I mean, before he hated articulation, and so a lot of people got on him for that. But I think learning from that now, he's, especially with the DC license, he's really tried to put more articulation. A lot of the ways he designs this figure too is based off of like Japanese import figures. A lot of the stuff he did in there, even the newer ones. Now he's doing little face plates you can switch out with a lot of his characters. And despite that, he was also the one who innovated a lot of these techniques that are being used now with other companies, like the rubber injected capes and stuff like that. He's the one who designed and created that stuff. That wasn't around until he figured it out. It's
Yeah.
actually quite funny because I had the son of the guy who worked with Todd McFarlane come in the shop one day and was telling me like his dad had all these like mock-ups and stuff of when they were designing those figures and how they were trying to figure out how to do a lot of these things. So you can hate them, you can love them, but at the end of the day, I give a lot of credit to McFarlane just for pushing the boundaries of toys and sculpting and innovation, because he's done it. And the one thing about McFarlane too is he's always tried to keep price points, relatively low. He did it with the comic books. He's done it with his toys. I mean, even with like the comic books, he did it as far as he could. Eventually, he had to go up, and I think he's kind of done the same thing with the toys. He tried to keep it low for a while. He was still at $19.99 when everybody else was at like $25 and stuff like that. So, like I said, I give him a lot of credit, especially in the toy industry. I think he's done a lot of good things there, and I appreciate his stuff. Not all of them are home runs, but I pick up
Most of them
one or
suck.
two McFarlane figures, and some of them are pretty darn good.
Most of them suck. No, what you're saying is totally true. Like I always I'm with you. Like I want to be McFarlane. Like I idolize McFarlane as far as all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, he just for what like the I know that he was instrumental in like action figures evolving in the late 90s. Like he was the first ones to do like sculpts that mattered. Before everything looked like a toy, his shit looked like a statue,
Yeah.
and eventually he started to do his thing. But like, you know, once everyone kind of caught up to him and everyone was doing the same thing, he kind of was just like one thing you could tell, like with McFarlane figures, when he first started doing the DC stuff, you could tell it looks like they sculpted the whole figure and then chopped articulation in, as opposed
Yeah.
to working the articulation into the aesthetic. And also, I would argue that I don't even think his figures look very good. Like if that's the calling card where it's like, oh well, the sculpt is nice. It's like no, the sculpts usually are not very good. But in my opinion,
Yeah,
the
I agree. I mean, there's definitely a lot of
Counterpoint.
misses. I mean, I have some McFarlane figures that I just make me want to barf. Like one of the ones I remember was the worst is the metal Superman from when he did the what was it, Death Metal or Metal something from DC Comics, and
yeah.
it looked like Superman looked like China from the wrestling, the
Yeah.
wrestling girl from I forget
WWF. Yeah.
WWF, yeah, that's what it was. I mean, it was such a terrible head sculpt, and he does a lot of those that are pretty bad. But once in a while, he gets them pretty good, But like I said, at the end of the day, for fun toys and at
Yeah.
a
They
decent
just feel
price
like they're in
point,
their own world.
yeah,
Like
And
yeah,
people like
it's
them
just
when they're affordable, so that's good.
yeah, they are
exactly.
affordable.
It's a toy like that. I mean, obviously, if you want better quality, better sculpts, there's definitely better options out there for you.
But I like also like he's made vehicles for relatively affordable prices. He made all
Yeah,
the Batmobiles, so you can pick any Batmobile from any movie, and you got it for a relatively cost-effective
yeah.
price.
Look how long Mattel had the DC license and didn't really give any vehicles. McFarlane's put out every single
Yeah,
Batmobile at a 7-inch
quantity over
scale,
quality, baby. That's how I like it.
and he gets them out there. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's what he does. He sells quantity, maybe not the best quality, but he gets the stuff out there that people want to see.
It
So
makes sense he would sell at Costco because that's very,
exactly, yeah.
very indicative of
Buy in bulk.
yeah, buy in bulk. Yeah,
Please.
you get
Um,
more money for your bulk, but yeah,
I
that's,
recently picked up his Deadshot and what's it, Fisher Superman, and I haven't opened them, but I'm hopeful. I look at them and I go, man, I hope this, I hope these are good.
they said
Yeah.
Pfizer's Superman, like
Pfizer, my bad.
COVID vaccine, Superman,
Oh, right,
like
right, right.
Pfizer,
Yes.
but that's why he looks all mutated because of the Anthony
Well,
Fauci.
people say that the new one, the Cyborg Superman,
It looks
is
good.
is like one of the best figures he's ever made. So
Oh, cool.
you know,
Yeah, he does look good. I'd like to pick that up.
yeah, people say check that one out because I think like I said, it's few and far between, but he does hit a home run once in a while, and people are saying that that's going to be the next one. So I'm definitely excited to check that one out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, speaking of good articulation, if you want to go there, Storm is getting some. They got the new Street Fighter figure that are coming out soon. Mr. Lee, one of the goats out there, did a reel, and Storm Collectibles posted it, and Man, this thing looks so nice. It looks so damn good. I mean, the movement, the articulation, the range on the thing looks absolutely insane for what is a 25 $26 figure. I mean, Jada kills it. I'm will always be loyal to Jada because they're the ones that really started this wave of just like making these figures that are affordable but just revolutionary, I would say. But man, Storm stuff looks great. What do you guys think about the Ken? I do. I really do.
Yeah, Mike, it looks like you're really jonesing on it. You say loyal to Jada, but I don't know the way you're talking.
I'm plumped up, dude. I can't. I don't know what else I can tell you. I'm all bricked up.
Yeah, my question is, I want to see a comparison between the two lines because Storm looks like they're coming out swinging. This looks really, really nice. Look at that ankle rocker there. I mean, you're gonna get some really good poses out of this guy. $25 price point, amazing. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Like I said, I love Jada, and I mean, the good thing for me is I love Street Fighter in general, so I'm gonna buy any version. I have so many different versions of Street Fighter, so it's not gonna bother me to pick up another line. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. What do you think, Wade?
I'll get one or two of these. Like I would like to check this out for science, but um, I think like these are $25 or whatever, but they're like imports, really, right? I don't know. Where do you even buy Storm? Oh, you could buy Storm from
Big Bad.
Toy Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'll buy. I don't know. We'll see. I'll definitely buy one or two just to see how they are. But I'm like I'm
Yeah, for
satisfied
27
with
bucks,
Jada.
man. I know you're not a big Street Fighter fan, but come on, man. I mean, look at this thing.
Well, the thing is, I'm satisfied. You're right. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan, but I'm satisfied with Jada. I don't need two lines that are so similar to each other.
That's fair.
Like for Street Fighter. But maybe like if they put out a Guile or Bolrog or whatever or characters I really like, then I'll grab them. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I feel
man.
like I know Mr. Lee is a talented poser, but like some of the poses I see here don't look as good as poses I've seen that I see with the
From Jada.
with the Jada figures. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe if it's I don't know what it is.
You sound like a negative Nancy right now. I don't like it.
I'm loyal to Jada. All right, you say you're loyal to Jada. I act like I'm loyal.
Listen, man. I can be objective. As a journalist, as an investigative journalist.
No,
I can be cool with Jada and also understand.
I saw you at WonderCon kissing up to June, talking all. You weren't talking about Storm collectibles at WonderCon.
How do you know? You weren't there. Were you watching me the whole time?
I was at Jada for the whole weekend. There was nowhere else to go, really, huh?
Yeah, it really was. There was nowhere else to go. Hanging on the Jada booth the whole time.
Yeah.
But the truth was, you did bring it up. I remember in the interview, you asked him.
See,
yeah,
it's on video and audio. It's on recorded.
What did you say? I didn't watch it.
He asked them if Storm, was bringing, their, Street Fighter figures in, and what would that mean competitively, to Jada, as in like trying to put out, the best quality figures.
It also shows that Wade doesn't watch any of my content.
Very, very few people do, Michael.
I know. I see the numbers.
I won't even watch this one.
Tens and tens of views.
In the tens of views.
But I think like competition is always good. You never want to get complacent. But I mean, I don't think Jada's been complacent at all. I think they've been always trying to innovate, and they're going to keep innovating. Oh, yeah. And June talked about that. So it's I fully expect the next wave of Street Fighter figures to be even better than what they've released. And Blanca and Sagat, I haven't gotten Blanca yet, but I've seen the videos. I have Sagat, and I think he's incredible. So, yeah, I have no doubt Jada's going to keep on killing it, and not just Street Fighter, all the other stuff that they're already working on. So, but I'm a Street Fighter fan. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I've been wanting Street Fighter figures my whole life. I got the Soda ones. I had the Rosaris figures. I even bought like bootleg eBay figures of Street Fighters.
Remember the NECA ones?
Which one?
NECA.
You know what? I never. I think I got one or two of the NECA ones, but I never. I just thought they looked like shitty.
NECA didn't do very many though. They only did like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, like Ken, Guile.
Yeah, it was Street Fighter 4.
They were stylized. Oh, okay. Yeah, they were stylized compared to like
super stylized. Yeah,
yeah. They were super blocky. I liked them. Oh, they had Guile. I think I had one of them. Maybe I had did they do Akuma? I want to say they did.
I remember Ken. I remember Guile.
Guile for sure.
Yeah.
Chun Li.
Those are the only 3 personally remember. I don't remember the other ones.
Maybe it was Dark Ken or something that I had. But yeah, I thought it was cool. I bought it for a custom, and I like the figure. But yeah,
Yeah, like you said, it was super stylized, so maybe
yeah,
that was the thing. I wanted like traditional Street Fighter 2, like what
Yeah,
Jada's doing, or
that line was very much modeled after the new designs for Street Fighter 4. So obviously they're gonna look very different from like the Street Fighter stuff from, Street Fighter 2 and stuff like that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
why a lot of people were like, "Oh, these look kind of weird," but they were really trying to stick to the design of the game.
No, which is it's fair. I just didn't particularly like that design. And again, it was a toy line of Street Fighter figures that wasn't a complete roster. You
yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
even if you did stylized version, if you're gonna do it, you want to have a full roster, not just 4 or 5 characters, because then you don't really get.
Well, I
That's the
think that's
whole.
the problem if they don't pick up the line. It wasn't super popular, so there was no way they were going to continually do it.
Yeah, these are the
They're not
ones.
gonna- yeah, they're
Look
all
at
there.
it, Akuma
Got
right
'em all
there.
right.
There you go.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool. But yeah, that wasn't the one I had. I had Dark Ken. But yeah, Akuma's
Oh,
nice.
Dark
I mean,
over here.
Akuma's
Yeah.
there's Dark Ken. You see him up there top.
yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah, they're cool
Interesting.
figures. I like them.
No.
But yeah, it's hard if the line doesn't continue because you don't get the full roster. That's what you want. Like Soda did a good job because they put out so many. I think if this line would have done really, really well, NECA probably would have continued and put the rest of the figures out. But that's the problem there. If you don't capture people off the bat and it doesn't get enough support, it's not going to go very far.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But
Those things had a
again,
lot of articulation for NECA figures of the time.
they did. No, double jointed everything, elbows, knees. I mean, they had like ab crunch, probably a waist torso as well.
Reflect joints.
Yeah, I know they have like the old sort of NECA groin articulation,
Oh
so that
yeah.
you could spread out. They were ugly, but they were functional.
You
So
love your groin articulation, don't you,
you know
Michael?
me. If I can ever talk about groins on an episode, it's a good day for me. So bad day for
Speaking of
everyone
NECA,
else.
I love this figure right here.
Which is that one? Oh, you went out on the
That,
stuffed turtles.
that's funny. That's the one we were just talking about, Michael. Remember?
The
Yeah, the
stuffed
stump.
turtles?
Yeah,
Yeah, those are the wrestling turtles.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know the wrestling turtle. I don't remember talking
They're
to
cool
you.
though, man. Like I opened them during the stream on Friday, and I was like, they've been sitting here, and I never got around to doing anything. But I opened them
Yeah.
up, and I was like, man, these are dope. Like these are the best like turtle bodies I've seen from NECA for like the more animated style. I know they're Archie comic style, but they could work for the animated style. They just kind of retooled them just a little bit. But yeah, look, they're really cool.
Oh, 100%. 100%. They look great. And they're pinless too, which is nice.
Yeah, and double joints.
Double jointed. They move. They're not like traditional NECA articulation where it feels stiff. You have to
No,
heat
not
them
at
up.
all.
Paint chipping, which was kind of the thing with them. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
so cool.
good looking figure.
That's such a great
But
one.
this one I've been walking around my house with though, the freaking Black Noir Raph.
Is that the pocket?
It's the pocket fig right now, yeah.
It's cool. I want to get. I want to get those 2013 turtles. The ones they showed off at Toy Fair and all those. 2013
yeah.
turtles, right?
Yeah, 20 yeah. Well,
2012, the cartoon ones. Like
yeah,
the more recent cartoon ones.
yeah.
They look cool. I want to get those. I'm down for the 2003 turtles from Super 7. They look good. You messed around with it at WonderCon. How did it feel in hand, the prototype?
Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty good compared to what I thought it was gonna be. Because I don't like Super 7, but I
Really?
think like it felt better than I expected. I don't think they were perfect or anything. I don't know the price. Like to me, if those were like $35, I think it'd be cool. But I think they're more like 65 or something. So it's like,
Yeah. They're like 60, I think, on the
That's
internet.
always been the problem with me with Super 7 is that they make great figures, I think, but their price point is just too high, And
yeah,
I see that a lot with people coming in to
Damn
the shop
high.
and buying stuff. They're like, "Oh, this is really great," but man, that's quite the price tag on it. Although they do kill it on the packaging. I mean,
yeah,
Super 7 has some of the best packaging in the game, I would say.
I don't know if it's
that
60
is
$60 worth of packaging is gonna cut it, but
No, that's exactly right. It's not.
yeah. They look good though. They look good, and I mean, we were talking about Mr. Lee. You have to mention Mr. Lee. I think he was the first to really have the full set and posted videos and photos, and they look good. They look like fun figures. They look figures you can actually mess and play with and pose, as opposed to everything Super 7 has ever released in their history of figures. But I mean, I thought they looked good, and I love that version of those turtles.
yeah, for sure.
So
That cartoon was dope.
the cartoon was cool. The shredder looks great. I still get likes on my posts from WonderCon that had the Shredder and Casey Jones, and I think people are really into that style because that's a really cool looking Shredder. So Turtles are
Yeah,
cool,
that's
man.
a very imposing shredder. I think people and a lot of people grew up with that turtle. You know, they missed the original cartoon, and that was the cartoon they grew up with. So,
Yeah.
I can definitely see a lot of fans coming out for that line now, just because they're of age and they can afford it, and they want those characters again.
Well, it's like, with Star Wars, the prequel era kids, they're
Yep.
grown up now and they're buying figures, so they want all the prequel characters. It's sort of similar, like every, you know, demographic, every generation has their version of turtles.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's a
that's
very
dope.
similar thing. Yeah. But the stump turtles look awesome. I was in Texas and there was an end cap and there was like 15 of them
Yeah.
lined up, and I was like, damn, I should get them. And I don't know, man. I'm a little turtled out. I still love my favorite. I think by far are the Mezco ones.
The Mezco ones are really good. Yeah.
They're really good. You
Yeah.
sound a little. I don't know. Are you? I feel like you like the stump ones more. I feel like you might have more fun with the stump ones.
Well, the problem with the Mezco ones is just like because of the cost, it's always going to be like a little bit of a. It takes away from the fun factor just a little bit. Like I wouldn't sit here and say this is better than the Mezco, but obviously, like yeah, I'm walking around enjoying this figure and like don't worry, I'm not worried about messing anything up or it had a
Mm,
scuff. I just like touched it up real quick, like nothing, just
yeah.
easy to enjoy.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
Mezco turtles is like $100 a turtle, so
Yeah,
that's probably not one you're gonna carry around in your pocket everywhere you go and
No,
risk,
for sure.
something happened to it, losing it, breaking it. So I get
No,
that. The
but
enjoyability factor goes down.
that's an interesting concept though of like like the value of something decreases like the amount of fun you can have in it because there's more of a like caution with it or something
yeah,
you
Well,
know
I mean, that's the nature of toys, I think. The toys I believe that toys are for having fun and enjoying them, be able to mess around with them. When they get so expensive that you don't wanna really even play around with them, it kinda, like, stops really
defeats
being a
the
toy anymore. It's like, for that, just buy, like, a,
like,
glass vase and put it in a,
yeah,
shelf and never
buy
touch it again.
Fabergé eggs or something,
Exactly,
like
exactly.
just do that then. But no, it is interesting because this is a whole the fiery topic of Maximum Spidey, right? But like I have them in my backpack. I take them with me when I go to work. I can play around with it. It's just sort of like it's been one of the most constant figures I've had with me since it
yeah,
came out, as opposed to other figures which I have fun with and I display them. But there is a little bit of like you have to kind of get away, like you don't want to damage it because you spent so much money on it.
yeah,
There's a high monetary value attached to it, and maybe there's the interesting psyche that it does to you that like you can't have as much fun with it even though you paid all that money for what is an action figure.
yeah. And Maximum Spider is right on that line because it's pretty expensive. Well, I mean, well, shit, these turtles like for the 4 pack, it's like $150, so they're not cheap either. But
No, but it's
still,
like 30, like 30-40 bucks a turtle,
yeah,
which is like
yeah,
in line with their ultimate figures. They're like 30 to 40 bucks, 35,
yeah.
40 bucks.
And that's kind of right there where where Spider-Man is at too, where it's like it's not super cheap, but it's not like breaking the bank if you have to go buy another one or whatever. Like if you
Yeah.
damage it, like if you go get a Mafex Spider-Man and you take it with you everywhere and you break it, it's like shit. I got to come up with $100 to get a new one or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but it's obviously how a lot of collectors feel too. It's like you buy something expensive, you don't touch it, you don't play with it that much. You kind of find a pose and you leave it alone. But like shit like that, like the stump turtle, you feel like oh I can play around with this. It's not gonna fall apart on me because it also doesn't have that crazy, like it's not like a $500 package of turtles like the Mezco one.
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah.
why I don't understand hot toys. Like they're very cool and everything, but I don't know why people buy them. Like toy collectors buy them. Like you
I
can't play
think
with
I
it.
think and I have a few, so from experience, I buy them more for the aesthetic and
more
just
than a
for
few.
the love of the character.
Yeah,
Have a really cool representation of that character in some sort of, totem. I'm not really looking to mess around with it or play with it too much. I just want like a really cool, kind of like buying they're kind of like you would buy a statue, like a nice high-end statue, but it's a figure and you have a little bit of mobility there. You can it's fun because you can kind of, set it up the way you want it and then leave it there.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
it comes
true.
with so many accessories and stuff. So it gives you a lot of options that a statue doesn't give you. And so I think that's what people really like about them. You know,
Yeah.
the quality behind them. I mean, they're just impeccably done. And then, like, I have all mine in these glass cases, and they stay. I don't really mess around with them after they're set up, but I enjoy that character and I enjoy how nice that rendition of them looks. So I think that's why people buy them. I don't think you buy them to be like toys. You know, I think they're in that like kind of above Mesco where you're like, I'm not gonna risk messing this stuff up. This is more of a collector thing that I'm gonna put like the vase on the shelf and not mess with it because I don't want it
Yeah.
to shatter. And so
Yeah.
I think that's why they do it, in my opinion.
Well, they're different. There's different like usage for figures, right? Like for like way like obviously like you love to pose them and fuck around with them in each and every way. Other people just want a nice looking figure for either just like a basic collection or for photography.
Yeah.
Something that looks really good
Yeah.
on photos, and that's the reason. And they get a Mesco because sometimes they look the best out of other figures, but there's a lot more. It costs more. And
Yeah.
like with
Yeah.
Hot Toys, like those are great figures for photography. They look extremely detailed. You can get them in sort of a pose, I guess. But there's different uses for every type of figure, you
Yeah.
know.
And that's the
So,
part I enjoy is just having that really cool version of it. But that's why I also collect the smaller stuff like the Black Series and other things that come out, the Mayfix, because I can mess around with those and I can, pose them and do all sorts of neat stuff that I can't do with the Hot Toy version. But that gives me that little bit of flexibility and variety in my collecting.
For sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of collecting, if you guys buy from Diamond, or if you get Diamond Select, they have a brand new owner at Populum. They had placed a bid after Diamond Comic declared bankruptcy. They got it at Populum. They own NECA. So now NECA and Diamond Select are in the same company, which is
Oh,
It's
crazy.
interesting.
pretty crazy. I mean, Diamond's been playing some crazy games here, because first they were bought by a different company. What was the name of that one, Michael?
You,
Alliance Entertainment.
yeah,
Then they're like, "Oh, our bids, we got a lot of bids. We could probably make more money." So then they like canceled that, filed a different type of bankruptcy, got themselves back on the market, sold again to these guys, refiled for Chapter 11 or whatever, and now they're bought by this company.
I
So
can't
I mean,
believable.
yeah, they've been playing the game here.
they really have. So
And
now,
I
so
hope it
yeah,
works out because being one of our distributors at Hidden Temple Toys, it's been a nightmare to be honest. I spoke with them at Toy Fair when we went, and they assured me everything was going to be good, that the transition wasn't going to affect distribution, things that were ordered would be fulfilled, and it was going to be just a wonderful, rose filled continuation of what they were doing. And no, it didn't turn out to be that way. It's been a disaster.
hoodwinked you.
They've canceled so many of my things. They've left me high and dry. So I'm pretty PO'd, and I wrote them a bunch of stern emails and phone
Strongly
calls
worded emails
exactly to
that your
kind
wife
of
wrote.
alleviate my stress amongst that stuff. So I really hope
They better
and
be
I
careful
I
because
just
you'll
you
send
know
Jen on them. You'll send your wife on them, and
I
there's
know I'm
no
gonna have to stick her on there because they're not
just,
listening to me, Michael.
just send the bulldog in.
Yeah, I have had quite the nightmare with them recently, and so I'm really hoping they get back on track because I do like Diamond. I mean, they've been around for so long, and the way that they distribute their figures is very um, cost effective for me. The way I can order a lot of different things, and so not many companies do it the way Diamond does it. And so I hope they get their shit together and this purchase gives them the money to fix the problems that they have, pay off all their debts, get back in good graces with a lot of the manufacturers, and hopefully get my shit to me when I need it.
Yeah.
So
Where's
I,
my
I,
shit?
I
Signed
know
Ed.
exactly. That's literally what the lady told me. She wrote down on her paper because I was complaining to her. It was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure to find out what's going on and see where all your shit went. And I have not gotten any shit, so
Where's my shit?
I'm still wondering
Calling
where
up
that shit is.
little subject saying re shit, regarding shit.
I know.
So
She sent me this Excel and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, marked everything that has been canceled in red," and like it's all red, 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 red. But
man. Oh,
hopefully we'll get through it and we'll find either more distributors or hopefully Diamond gets their act together. We'll see what happens. But I hope this is good news. for
Yeah,
everybody
that's like
involved.
the motto in the toy world. Like, let's get through it. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll figure it out. Hopefully, or it'll all
Burn it down, Michael.
burn the whole thing down. Let's start all over again.
Like V for
So
Vendetta, but for toys.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a good movie.
That
Great
is a
Speaking
good
of
movie.
good
movie.
movies, did you guys watch Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
I did. I actually got to take my nephews and my kids yesterday. We snuck out. I'm like, Jen, watch the shop. I'm out.
Oh,
And we went to watch it. It was actually really good. I enjoyed it. It was different. It's not like the traditional superhero movie that Marvel's been doing. It was
right.
very much story driven, not action driven, which I thought was really good and different. I thought the story took center stage and it wasn't overdone by just all the gimmicks and explosions and all that kind of thing, fight scenes. It was really a well done story and everything that was in it mattered, and it was just a really enjoyable film. It was something that I was missing from Marvel, to see something unique and interesting, and
Yeah.
so I'm happy they did that, and I hope this is a first glimpse of Marvel kind of righting the ship and getting their movies back on track.
Probably not. But I so happy that
Maybe.
it came out. What about you, Wade? You dug it, right?
Yeah, I liked it, and in fact, the more I think about it, the more I like it. But it's
Yeah.
I just don't like that it was called Thunderbolts. That's my only gripe, and it's kind of been my gripe since the movie started because I was like, there's no way they're gonna do anything that is like Thunderbolt. And the whole time I was complaining, I was like, I hope I'm wrong, hopefully. And then the movie comes and goes, and it's a really really dope movie. But yeah, they should have just called it New Avengers or
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think they just used Thunderbolts as a ruse to kind of like throw people off and not really let them know what it was until the movie was out. And I think that does kind of, disrespect Thunderbolts, because Thunderbolts from the comics, it's its very own unique thing.
yeah.
And so I understand what Wade's saying, that it just kind of detracts from that. And I wish they would have done a Thunderbolts that honored the actual source material for Thunderbolts, and like you said, just call this New Avengers and let that be what
This
they went
thing,
with from
yeah.
the beginning.
And they could have called it like anything and still achieved what you're talking about here. But calling it Thunderbolts kind of handcuffs the Thunderbolts concept because then they can't really go do it. But like
Right.
they could have called this Black Widow and Strike Force Team X or something, or something, and it would
Mhm.
have it would have effectively done the same thing. At the end, they could have been like, oh, whatever. But um, yeah, it's crazy because like Marvel has back in the day, they used to have so much foresight when they'd create everything. And you would think that they could have made a cool small Thunderbolts movie between Infinity War and Endgame. It would have been like the perfect time for like some heroes to pop up and then pull the mask off and it's Zemo or whatever, that
Yeah.
it would have been it was so perfect because that's how isn't that how it happened in the comics? Like everybody was gone because of the onslaught and
Yep.
Zemo popped up with a bunch of villains and was like, never mind, you know. And then throughout the years, some of those villains started to think like, whoa, actually being a hero is pretty cool. Zemo's like, you're not good enough to be heroes. Like there's all kinds of cool concepts in there that could be explored that are different. And I want to say the movie kind of did some of those things, but ultimately everybody here was just a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, they all had their dark past, but at the end they weren't bad. And so I get the difference between, the comic book iteration where it's more the bad guys, pretending to be heroes and so on. But yeah, unfortunately it is. There's just so much to do. And how much are you gonna be able to take from the comics and make movies out of? It just seems like there's just so much more material in the comic books that will just never make it to the movies. So I think
Yeah.
maybe they just decide we're gonna just take a little bit of here and this just to give it a little notoriety and just kind of do what we will, because we'll probably never get around to actually making a Thunderbolts or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a shame
They had-
because there are some cool properties that would make really good movies. It's just like
Mhm.
there's just not enough, you
I
know.
think I think they had a game plan, but then real life situations affected everything. I think Chadwick Boseman dying just threw them a huge wrench in terms of Black Panther and how Black Panther was going to play into everything. I
yeah.
think he was going to be the new main face of the
Yeah.
MCU, right?
I feel like they did have a plan after Infinity War and Endgame, and then with Black Panther, Chadwick passing away, and then them, which I think was their big mistake of not recasting the role, is where they just kind of lost their direction,
Yeah.
and no one ever said, "Okay, what's going to be Plan B?" They're just like, "All right, well, let's just kind of float around, make whatever, and we'll figure it out. And that has not worked out for them at all.
No, it hasn't. And then with Jonathan Majors as Kang, that was supposed to be his own
Yeah.
thing. So we were supposed to be Avengers Kang Dynasty. And so that's two real life situations that have majorly affected how the MC was going to go. So I think they did have some foresight into them, just like they did with comic books, but they didn't know how to rebound from those events. And so
Yeah.
they just started making a bunch of shows, right? That had some tie-in, but didn't really connect and felt sort of unnecessary to the grand scale of the MCU. And so people just stopped caring. And I think it got to the point where even Kevin Feige was just sort of not even involved as much. He was involved in too many things for him to be involved in one thing or one
Yeah, to
other
be
thing.
truly putting
Yeah,
his
the spread's so thin.
yeah.
And so it just seemed like there was just no real uh, um, plan in sight. And so now I was trying to come up with the pieces, but man, I don't know. I don't know. Something about Avengers Doomsday feels a little stinky.
Oh, it's
Well,
yeah, it's gonna be stupid.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Feige. I mean, I just saw a report yesterday of him coming out and saying that he has a plan now, that he has been working on something to kind of fix the problems with Marvel, and so I mean, he says he's back and he says he's on top of the problems and he's going to try to straighten it out. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, Thunderbolts gave me a little bit of hope that what's the next one? Fantastic Four will be hopefully decent, but
I
That
think
looks
that's gonna
good.
be good.
Yeah, I
that
think
one, I'm not sure. It could be. I'm excited for it. I think it looks really good, and then we'll see. But like I said, I think all this could have been averted. And I've said this a lot of the times. It's just like, why couldn't they recast these roles? It's just like the idea that they didn't recast, and the reason of they recasted some roles, but they couldn't recast these roles, where it
Mhm.
was so important for them to have that character in there. It never makes sense to me. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little weary. I think Fantastic Four is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun movie. I think
So
they've
you
already
you
had.
did not like Thunderbolts, Michael?
I did like Thunderbolts. I actually thought
Oh,
Thunderbolts was probably the best thing they've done in the last 4 years,
okay. The way you were talking
excluding Moon
about it, I
Knight,
felt like you
obviously.
just thought it was like whatever.
But Thunderbolts, I thought
It
was
wasn't enough to reignite your passion for Marvel? Is that what you're telling us?
it gave me a slight Marvel erection.
Yeah? A
Yeah,
little, how's your
little
father?
softy, a little
Little
chunk.
tickle of the sack there?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
a
yeah,
little
I don't think
nudge?
any one movie could do that. I think that's like an unfair expectation to put on. Like every time a Marvel movie comes out, it's like, oh, Marvel's so back, or like, is this gonna bring back Marvel? It's like just fucking one thing at a time. Like just make a good movie.
for sure. Yes,
Make one good movie and then another one and then another one and then talk about like Marvel being back. Not like
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
fair point. It's definitely, the proof's in the pudding. Give us, a good series of movies. Give us a good, 3 to 5 movies that don't suck, and then we can talk about it like you say. So, yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
my wife and I went to go see Thunderbolts, and before the movie, she made a list of predictions.
Wow.
She made, I think, how many predictions? About 18. She got 16 and a half right out of 18.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty
I
good.
mean, I mean, she got like 3 of them in the first 5 minutes. So that was really impressive on her part.
That
Uh,
was. Were you amazed?
I was pretty amazed. I
Do
really
you have,
was.
like, a
I was
new
very impressed, but also was like,
found
"Oh, hey, these
respect
are
for her?
predictions." I'm sorry?
Do you have, like, a newfound respect for her?
I mean, I always find myself finding new respect for her. And one day when she listens to this podcast, she'll know that, but otherwise I'll never tell her to her face.
your
So
wife doesn't listen to your podcast.
who?
Your wife isn't that who you're talking about?
Don't know
I
who
tuned
that
out. My bad. What?
is. Yeah, I was. Yeah, but
Well, you have a wife, Michael?
I'm as shocked as you are. So
Somebody married you?
they decided to. Well, speaking of awesome projects, I went to go see Andor, episode 8 and 9. They were doing a screening for it in New York, and a lot of the cast was there, including one very handsome Benjamin Bratt. Are you familiar with Benjamin Bratt?
I am familiar. Famously from Blood In, Blood Out, my favorite
Blood
movie.
and Blood Out. That's right. That's right. Your favorite movie. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so pissed. I didn't tell him that. Oh, it's annoying. I just wish, like, dude, Blood and Blood Out. That shit was tight.
Blood In,
You
Blood
were-
Out sucks.
well, funny enough, Benjamin Bratt remembered me of all people
Oh, cool.
because I did a press junket interview with him and Bryan Cranston back in Miami over 10 years ago. And I guess
Amazing.
I did such a great job that he was just very impressed.
That or you creeped him out so bad
Yeah,
that
I
you've
think
been
it I think
terrorizing his nightmares for years and years.
yeah, I think he had a restraining order against me, and so that's why he remembered me. So, it might have
That's
been
probably
that,
what
but
it
he played
was.
it off very well.
That's more
But
plausible to me,
Is
Michael.
he in Andor or is he in?
he's in Andor. He played Jimmy Smith's character.
Yeah, he was
I haven't
recast.
I haven't watched Andor yet, unfortunately. I know I'll like it, but I just haven't
You haven't
watched
seen
it.
any of it?
No.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I know I'll like it. I just have to get to it.
Yeah, yeah. It took me a while too. I actually just saw the first season a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I haven't watched the first season
It's
either.
just one of those things where it's like I think it came out during again it's sort of very MCU like overload of content, and then it just sort of got lost in the shuffle amongst everything, and then I was already burnt out at that point. But
Yeah.
then letting it kind of go away, letting all just the perfunctory Star Wars shit get out of, it got out of hand. You let it go, and then you come back with it with new enthusiasm. I really enjoyed Andor. I think it's definitely the best thing they've done since.
Well, I'm
I mean,
glad you finally took your thumb out of your snatch, Michael, and
I
Oh,
did
got back to it.
got it out, cleaned it out, and then watch that Star War. I love a good Star War,
good
but
Star Wars is definitely magical.
it is, it is. I think that's the appropriate way of saying it
Yeah, and
because
I
there's nothing
definitely
that
think
matches the magical mystery of Star Wars when it
and like
hits
I
right.
said that before, I think Andor is definitely bringing back that magic to a lot of people. I think, with some of the misses they've had with Star Wars lately, people have just been kind of out. That's been the sentiment I've heard with a lot of people. They come through and talk to me about it. And Andor seems to really be energizing a lot of people and kind of bringing back like, oh, wow, Star Wars is pretty cool, and, maybe this wasn't the greatest, but the world that was created because of Star Wars is pretty awesome. And Andor just shows how you can play in that world and not have to like deal with like the Skywalkers and stuff that's been there, but just kind of create a whole new kind
Oh,
of
fuck that.
idea of like this kind of more espionage and cloak and dagger type of thing,
Yeah,
and it can still be just as good, just as riveting as like the swashbuckling sword
yeah.
wielding movies that we've seen in the past. So yeah, very exciting. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, last episodes come out this week, so that'll be the end of Andor. It's a 2-season show, so
Yeah.
it's not a lot of commitment to it either, which is
How many
nice.
episodes are in each season? Like 9?
12.
Fuck, that's a lot. Yeah, see.
Come on, man.
No,
Too much. I'm out.
no, it's just a
Can't
lot
do it.
time, like actual time-wise, like, man, that's
For
a lot of
sure.
hours.
There's a lot
Um,
of man hours, yeah,
and it's
involved.
not like I can't like I could get into I don't mind like I like watching whatever, so I could get into it, but it's like where could I find 12 hours to watch this?
Yeah. You are
You
a
know,
busy man, you know? You've
I'm
told me
busy,
your
man.
your life where it's like, I don't know how you operate as a human functioning.
It's the worst. I can't do it for much longer, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's over the burnout. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what I also wanted to talk about was, with all the tariff shit, and that sort of was also on our agenda, just like everything that's happening with Mattel. Now they're a country apparently, which is super cool. I would move there.
Yeah.
You know, I
It's
didn't
good.
know that. I'm sure the secretary of whatever is a monopoly man, and then he's working under the Trump administration as well. So
Yeah.
all sorts of cast of characters involved now. But with the tariff stuff, just again, Hasbro is not taking pre-orders at this moment because they're all in flux with everything. Mattel is saying they're not going to move their companies to the U.S. for manufacturing. Big Bad had their lock-in pre-order before May 9th, before everything has a tariff price. And then you have other stuff that looks a little shady, like NECA and Super 7 adding an 8% tariff price to their in-stock figures, which could be just wait, maybe they offset their full prices that way, or I'm not sure. However you want to handle that. Is that your what is that?
Oh, well, my mother-in-law bought me these lights for my shelves, but they're not very good. I mean, I wish they don't I like them, but they don't do much. So I don't
Oh,
know. I
I
don't
thought
think I'm
like
gonna
one of the buttons you press when you fall down and they call like a
Like a
911.
panic
yeah.
button. I've
Yeah,
fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
exactly. I thought that's what it
Um,
was.
He's calling
yeah,
for
no,
help.
tariffs suck, man. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's all I have to say. Yeah, but and with Odious, it's where is it with Odious at this point?
I mean, it pretty much like shut it down for the time being, Like there's really it's the landscape is so uncertain that it's just kind of tough to go out there and try to do a Kickstarter which is largely based on faith like, hey, trust me, I could do this. But it's like, can you? Like, there's these big companies that can, that are having trouble operating, that we're unhappy with. Like, what, how you going to do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, that's the one aspect of the Kickstarter part. But then actually getting things produced and over here, like, I feel like I could make it happen. Like, I could work it out somehow, whatever. But it'll be expensive, or it'll be like jumping through hoops. Like, you can go to China and pick up stuff and bring them back. So it's like, damn, can I travel, 4 times to China and just grab the boxes myself?
I
Like,
want to watch that. I want to see you take a trip to China. I want that documentary.
well,
What was
I'm
that
just, I was
show?
just,
Idiot Abroad. Remember that show?
Like Carl Pilkington.
yeah, but I was just thinking, like, I'm just trying to
Mexican
think of
Carl
all these
Pilkington.
different types of things, and it's just like they're not feasible for such a small operation. Like, there's just, you know, like I
Have you
said,
considered maybe trying like another country like India or Thailand or something? Does anybody else have comparable things that you can look at for manufacturing, or it's just like it's all China?
well, I mean, I could. So I haven't really looked into those things because the whole idea, if I do that, I basically have to start all over, which
Mm.
is okay, but it still doesn't solve the uncertain landscape of the potential buyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, the demographic I'd have to shop to. Those people are still going to be uncertain, even if I go and say, hey, I found a factory in India that could do this, and it's still going to be a little bit more expensive, but I think anything that any small company does, it's going to be like, how come the big companies don't just do that too? Like, so it's like,
Mhm.
I just don't think people are going to have faith in a Kickstarter. Um,
Like they used to, yeah. Of
yeah,
course.
it's not gonna be
Yeah.
the same. Like, think about it. Like, when I jumped on, when I did Kickstarter, there were so many other Kickstarters that were successful. Like, Adams, Brutal Realm, this and that. Like,
Yeah.
all these different things. Are just everyone's will, like Plunderlings nonstop, Savage Crucible nonstop. Everyone's just so like used to just supporting these things.
Yeah.
And then look, since the tariffs were announced, there was that the zombie astronauts. Those things look amazing, and they're by the same people that do Spiro toys, like the
Mhm.
sculpting wise,
Right.
like a lot of the same people, and they didn't even get close to their goal. And
No.
and I don't think it has anything to do with the quality of what they were offering. I think it was all
Right.
about just the uncertain landscape. So
How can
yeah,
anyone operate? Even like either the manufacturer making it or you're the consumer. You're
yeah,
just it's completely uncertain both ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a complete mess. And then on top of like if I were to go find another country, like, a big thing was for this run, I was I already have my tooling, right? So already most of Odious's tooling already exists. So I was trying to build off those tooling, which that's what people do, and oftentimes that's where, like, companies, like, actually start to make some money. So, like, the first Odious, I didn't really make any money because that's just how it goes. But then it
Right.
was kind of like, well, now I have my tooling, I'm in a position to kind of make something.
Right.
And now, again, it'd be just starting all over.
If
Yeah.
say Odin had started in January and you got funded and everything February, would that have been a worse situation considering you being in this murky area of like how much would tariffs cost you?
No, not really, because
This is just hypothetical speak, like
yeah. So, like, had I done that, I mean, if that turned out to be the case, I don't know. That's still up in the air, really, because, like, maybe things will be different by the end. Let's say I did that, right, and then it took me a year to produce Odious. Maybe within that year, things will have all gone back to normal, which is highly unlikely, but
right,
maybe. Um, Or one of the honestly, if that was the case, I would just I would have figured out a different way to get them here. Like, again, I would have, like, said, put them all in baggies and I'll come get them, like, type
yeah,
of thing,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, do it
So
yourself. Yeah, at that point, right?
yeah, I mean, shit. You take a big. You don't. I could fit 1,000 Odiouses in a suitcase,
I
right?
want to see that at the airport. Just like 1,000. Is it like customs
No, I
going
mean,
through?
imagine 1,000 little baggies of Odious. You could put them in a suitcase, right? Like, why not? And
Yeah.
then I'll come over here and start cutting foam and cardboard and pack them and ship them myself.
I know, man. I know how dedicated you are. You would travel across continent to go make that happen.
Hey,
Oh,
I
I see.
am
That gives
dedicated.
me the whole idea. I mean, you can just open up a little factory in your garage, get Mikey out there, start, mixing plastic, bring the
Oh yeah,
manufacturing back to
I need a
America.
part-time job, dude. So
yeah.
you need
That's how easy. That's how
some
easy they
labor.
make it sound. Like, yeah,
Right?
just start making it in America.
Yeah, do it in our garages. That's how
You
we
know,
make
when I
manufacturing
did the
jobs.
first Odious, I did look in America for manufacturing, but it's
Oh, we
just there
did.
is none. There is none here.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it will be a number of years before that actually happens. And at that point, the figures themselves will be as expensive as imported figures. And you'll be paying, because you have to pay the workers to pay
Yeah,
all
you're
that
paying the
stuff,
price figures.
So that's why we love slave labor here on this show because
Yeah,
that's how we get our figures for cheap.
$1,000
Yeah.
So,
for
but
Marvel
yeah,
Legends.
this is the unsaid thing, but now it's out in the open. We're like, yeah, we know, but that's how we get cheap figures, dude.
I
So
mean, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how every factory is, and I'm sure the factory only showed me what's appealing. But like when I see, I don't know. I think people kind of think like, oh, factory child labor. I, I didn't think. I don't think that's what was happening from my factory. Like,
no,
it just seemed like I did notice it was a lot of older people, but it was
yeah,
like,
it's mostly older people actually. Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah,
like
for
I
sure.
saw older people sitting there, not, and I don't mean like 90-year-olds. I look like 50-year-olds, like sitting there, like painting Odious or assembling it or
Go
whatever. I
ahead.
didn't see like a kid in rags doing, I don't know, but um, not to
You
say
were like,
that's
hey,
not a
kid, get to
stereotype.
work.
Little children painting odious heads
It's not like
with
waiting
tears in
there
their
like
eyes.
on a rail with like a megaphone. Get to work, kids. We
The
got
guy
toys
with the
to
whip
make.
standing behind them all.
From my experience, kids aren't good painters. Okay, like my daughter used to help me paint Odious heads, and I had to fire her. I was like, just paint these damn wires, and she like messed it up. So,
I know. My 8-year-old son plays Warhammer miniatures, and dude, he's
oh,
like a pro. They're amazing. I don't know how he does
oh,
it. He's better than me.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
his
he's
Warhammer stuff was really. He showed it to me. Like, you painted? Like, yeah, I did.
yeah,
Like,
you
yeah,
just gotta get the right children on the job.
Yeah,
you gotta get the,
is
yeah, you
he
gotta.
available or what's his deal? Is he looking for work?
Yeah, he can go with Mikey, work in the garage.
We'll both go. Yeah, we'll
We got a
both go
team
work in
going
your
now.
garage. Yeah, man. So,
Team
or
Odious. Get them done.
yeah, gotta make it happen, man. You gotta make figures great again. But yeah, well, I mean, you've been also mentioning other stuff. You said like you have the comic book idea, which I think is a great thing to pursue as well.
Yeah,
No,
hopefully. I mean, if you follow my live streams and just me throughout the years, you know that like comic books is like it's up there with toys as far as like my passions go.
yeah,
I love comics, and I've always I've said it several times. I started my whole YouTube because of a little bit of a comic book thing that I was working on with somebody that just didn't work out, and I just kind of stole the art and said, "Hey, can I use this for YouTube?" and became my logo, and then that evolved into Odious. So it all started with, back in the day, I was like, if I could get like look at these toy reviewers, they have these big old crowds of people that watch them. And, if I could get a little bit of that, I could sell them a comic book. And it kind of worked. It did actually become true, but with the Odious figure. So, yeah, anyways, I would love to get a comic book. Shout out to Bobo who did this art right here. He just did this for fun because I was talking shit. And he was like, he's an amazing artist, but he always is like, oh, I can't do comic stuff. And I was like, no, I know you can, man. And then one day he hit me up with this, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. This like perfectly captures the soul of like how I want Odious to feel.
did you just explain to him? Did you have like a draft of like, okay, this is my character, this is what I'm thinking?
No, I didn't tell him anything. He just sent me this one day.
Oh shit, like
Yeah,
that.
this was just like he heard, again, if you watch the live streams, you know the tone and the feel and
Yeah,
like kind of the lore about Odious. He's a monster hunter basically. And
yeah,
right here he just like again, it's so simple to look like the way he laid out the panels, which is key when it comes to comics. Obviously, you want the panels to flow so that people could understand what they're looking at. Right here with no dialogue, you see exactly what's happening. He's
mhm,
walking down a trail, he hears something, turns around, sees nothing, yells, hears nothing, continues to walk, gets attacked.
yeah.
So
Very cool.
Bobo is super talented.
That tells the whole story right there. Shout out to Boba because that stuff is
Yeah, that's
And just from
fantastic.
that, it's just spawned like your whole thing, man, which is dope. And I think I think like going the other way, like going backwards as opposed to like trying to do the figures now with doing a comic book. I think that could also work. Have you thought about going that way?
Sorry, what's your question? Thought about doing what?
Going towards like a comic book route for
Yeah,
Oh
now.
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
pursuing the figure, pursue a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's kind of like where once I've kind of once I find some peace with Odious not happening for a while, then I'm gonna focus
Mhm.
on comics. But right now, I keep trying to find loopholes and trying to figure it out. But yeah, if that doesn't work out, then comic books is where my focus is gonna move to. And hopefully that could be something for a while until the figures get back on the table.
Well, I know. I mean, Ed being someone that owns a store. And you talk about how, you have something like Mythic Legion and people ask about it, but they don't know anything about it. They like stuff that has a lore attached or
Yeah.
something, a comic book or a show or whatever. That's something you talk about a lot, Ed, when you're
Yeah,
coming
having
for it.
something to explain what people are looking at goes a long way. Having that comic book to kind of, like we said, talk about Odious, like what's his lore, where does he come from, what's he about, and giving him, hey, just read the comic book and you'll know. That really gives a way for people to identify and understand the character and can get excited and decide, oh yeah, this is definitely a figure I want to pick up. And I always say that I think with Mythic Legions, that's where they fail because everybody asks me, what are these about? They're so cool, but what's the story? Who are they? And it's kind of hard to just kind of gibberish. Oh, they're just, these characters and, they're just based off of, high fantasy stuff and they're working on some stuff, but, they haven't put anything out. And so they kind of lose interest after that. So having something there to be like, just check this out, look it out, and, just kind of capture their imagination with the story and artwork, kind of like a comic book. I think they really gravitate to it. So yeah, I think that would be a fantastic idea to kind of help push Odious to that kind of next level where people can identify and get excited about what's more besides just the figure.
Yeah. And get attached to it and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
This is
sure.
actually a paid consultation, so we'll send you a bill after the show.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw that right in
Yeah.
the trash. I can do all my bills.
Yeah. Well, if you need the money, we'll figure that out later on. So,
Oh, you're
we'll
giving
we'll
out
send
money? Yeah, send it.
no, yeah, if they're giving out money, we can just take that from them directly.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. We'll include a tariff fee on that as well,
Yeah.
obviously. But what doesn't have a tariff fee is this show, and for us, we always like to talk about new figures on New Figure Smell.
Love that new figure smell.
Mm, mm,
Ooh,
Hey,
so
what do you have today on New Figure
seductive.
Smell?
What do I have? What do I have? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about a couple cool pickups. I think Mikey mentioned that Wade, you talked about these very recently.
Yeah, on a
So I finished
review.
up my
Hmm.
Iron Man here from the what would you call this kind of line? Comic
The
book
mini comic wave.
Retro mini comic wave. Really cool. I collect all the Iron Man, so I definitely needed this one. Very cool. I think this one was done before before Toy Biz got well they had gotten the license for the new stuff. They made like a bunch of really shitty figures and then they stopped it and then they did the Return to Marvel Legends. I think they did this one before they did the Return to Marvel Legends and it was really shitty.
Yeah, I
But this
want to say it was part of the
really nice.
Brood series.
What was that?
I think it was part of the Brood series.
Right? Yeah,
Yep,
it was some
yeah.
really shitty version of it, and I remember I picked it up and I'm like, "Oh, I hate it," and then I think I just kind of threw it away. But this one is really really nice. Very excited to get that one. But me being a huge X-Men guy, I really wanted to complete my Jim Lee X-Men, so I had gotten this one from the 3-pack, and now I'm able to complete my giant size X-Men version setup with the Green Banshee from that series. So very happy to have picked that one up from that same line. So he's
Nice.
going to go with the rest of my giant size X-Men collection. And yeah, that's what I got. What about you, Michael? Did you get anything?
I ain't got shit. Wait, what you
Oh
got?
man, wow.
Oh,
Sucks
man.
to be you,
Dry as a
man.
bone, baby. Dry as a bone. I did all
Oh,
my
man.
splurging a while back. So I'm waiting for Superboy. I'm waiting for the Mayfix Superboy. So
Oh yeah.
that's my big one. What about you?
Recently I did get
Wait.
this guy that I like. I like him quite a bit. He's pretty cool.
Ah,
Very cool. What is
yeah.
that from?
So the
From
Mezco.
Mezco.
Is that just a Mezco creation, or is that based off of a property?
It's one of Mezco's creations. It's part of their Rumble Society, whatever.
Oh,
Dang,
very
I'm trying
cool.
to keep it in
There's
focus,
some,
but
there's
There
some
it
really
is.
good photos. Like Ken Rock took some awesome photos of this guy.
oh yeah, Henrock killed it, man. He's the one who made me want to buy it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then also I opened this. It's not really new, but I got it from Big Bad Toy Store recently, and it's pretty fun.
Oh shit. What is that?
It's like a weird skeleton thing attached to a chest. Like open it up and
Oh, the chest
Isn't it called a
nice.
mimic?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. chess mimic
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
It's like
something like
they're
that.
like
It's so
they're
cool.
like characters you see like in like old side scrolling games, you know,
It's
or
kinda like
like
Oh
Dungeons
yeah,
and
yeah.
Dragons stuff. So it's like
yeah,
the character just the chest sits there and you think it's like full of gold, and when you open it, it's a monster and it'll eat you.
But
Uh,
it's got like pretty cool articulation and stuff.
yeah, it
It's
looks pretty
fun.
neat.
yeah, that's really good. And it can
And then
stand on its own like that. That's cool.
another thing I just opened that, we are talking about McFarlane and statues, and I was hating on all that shit. But then look, I got this right here. Bryant bought me this as like a gift.
Oh, look at that.
And yeah, I actually kind of love it.
That's pretty cool, and it's
That's
kind of neat
really
because it goes to that McFarlane strong point of making more like statuesque figures and not actual action figures.
Yeah, and I like that
Action.
it's based on his artwork.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he does a
That
good job of capturing in 3D, taking those flat images and making it something that you can hold. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
another thing I loved about it too is it came with the comic and a trading card. That kind of stuff is cool, man.
Yeah. That's always been one of McFarlane's thing.
Yeah,
The
why
pack.
didn't Hasbro do that with their comic line? You know?
Yep. They don't want to give you the good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. The mini comic is. I mean, I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. It's fine. I saw a lot of people when they were taking the odious photos for the contest. They used the ROM comic like in the background a lot. So that's a lot. That is fun. But I think it would have been cool if they would have included an actual comic. Or I've heard a lot of people say like a link to a digital comic.
Right.
Or I think it would have been cool if they included actual mini comics like NECA did with the
Yeah.
Creep Show
Yeah.
figure.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I know they say like with links or stuff they have licensing issues. It's like, why not? If you buy a figure, you get like a 30-day free trial for Marvel Now or something. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
If that's the right thing, let's make it like that. If you buy a figure, you can. I don't know. I
think
should
that's
be.
pretty cool though.
I have
'Cause
the
I
good
like
ideas.
props for toys, to have little props to add. And here's like what we're talking about if you guys can see it. It's kind of fun to have little things like this, like you said, to use for your photographs or to just kind of use in your displays with your figures. It's neat. Yeah, which would I've also liked them to include a full size comic book. Yeah, that'd been fantastic. But
Yeah.
I
It would
guess
have
they're
been
just
cool
cheap.
if Banshee came with the comic that had Banshee on the cover, though. Doesn't that one not have Banshee?
Yeah, he's on it.
Yeah, the giant size X-Men.
He's flying in the background.
Oh, he is.
Or
Okay.
is that Storm?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's on it.
Oh yeah, I think that's Storm flying in the background. I need my readers. I
Need
can't.
your peepers. Yeah.
It's too small. But hey, he's in the comic.
He's somewhere in there. That's a good point, Wade. He should have been. We got one with him on the cover. Anyway, we're mad at Hasbro all the time for stuff. Like, let's just let it go. Let's just let it go, man. No,
Let's
I'm
just
gonna-
enjoy what they do give us, right?
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
to the bottom of this. Fuck that shit.
There's investigative journalism on that. But if you want those figures, you can go to Hidden Temple Toys. Burn your ass.
What the hell
if
was
you don't
that?
get those toys.
Smoke.
That's
Oh.
the official Hidden Temple Dragon.
That's our sponsor, Hidden Temple Toys.
Yeah, man. What's so funny?
What was that? Was that something you guys had made, or did you guys steal that from someone?
Yeah, no, I had it made.
We
Play it again,
still-
Michael. Roll it.
Sorry, I was.
We spare no expense here at Hidden
What do you think,
Temple.
it's some like treehouse show, like some.
Oh, he thinks this is a Mickey Mouse operation over
Yeah,
here.
some Mickey Mouse out of some garage, shit. No, man, this is a professional.
Those
guy.
Americans
No.
working out of a garage. That's
You
what
get, like,
he's.
you get like 4 reviews. What are you talking about?
This is a hidden sponsored by Hidden Temple. So it's different. We're bankrolled.
Am I such a horrible person to think you stole that? Like, why would you? Never mind.
Why movies? Yeah, little. I don't like what you're insinuating. So
No, did you guys really get that made? That's awesome.
Yeah, I got it made. It's one of those things you can just sign your logo and then make a little animation for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's super dope.
It is
Yeah.
dope. Thank
Yes,
you.
thanks. And then you can take it back that you didn't mean that thing about me stealing it.
Yeah, I take that part.
Just because we're brown doesn't mean we're criminals. Wait, I'm sorry.
You guys are brown. I've seen you guys in person. You guys are really light brown.
Light brown. Yeah, like a mocha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a cardboard.
Café con leche.
A lot of cream.
Like a cafe con leche. Exactly.
Mucho cream.
Well, usually we have like another white person on here, but he's
Yeah,
gone,
gross.
so we had you to fill out all of our white quota.
Mexican side. Oh,
The
okay.
Mexican
Yeah.
white, but still
Got it.
white. You identify as white. Is what you.
That's not. I don't know about that.
I feel like you do. I feel like every time someone says
When
like
it's
yes,
convenient.
it's like a win for you every
When
time.
it's
It depends
convenient.
on where he's at, you know.
Exactly.
If he's
Yeah.
at the country club, all white, you know.
Yeah.
If he's
Well,
at the taco stand, Mexican, all white.
I had that whole deal
Salad
messed up
brown.
because I do the opposite. Like when I'm with the whites, I'm all "Órale, Holmes," but then when I'm with the Mexicans, I'm like, I don't know Spanish. I don't know,
It's
But
like a
exactly.
defense mechanism or something. You got
Yeah.
the reverse. Yeah, you don't want to assimilate. Okay. I have more respect for that then. So
Cool, man.
yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. My favorite segment. I don't have anything for this one either, but Ed,
Oh
you got
my
something
gosh,
I'm really
correct,
excited for
yeah.
you to
When
feature
when
on the Yellow Wing.
Welcome to your doom.
Ed, what do you have for us on this week's episode of the Yellow Wing?
All right, yeah. So we kind of like brainstorming here. What could we show off for the yellowing? And we thought we were talking about Youngblood and Image at the top of the show. So we're like, what other awesome stuff came out? And one of my favorite things of all time, one of my favorite artists is Jim Lee. And when he left Marvel off of his amazing run on X-Men, he decided to put together his own team. And here I have to show off my signed, framed Wildcats #1
Oh,
by the man himself, Jim Lee. This was amazing. I mean, like I said, I was just a Jim Lee junkie, a groupie. I loved everything he did, and his team was really, really cool. So I was super surprised when he decided that he was going to make a cartoon, and he did. And I was quite surprised he did not go with his best bud, Tom McFarlane, and have McFarlane make the toys. No, he went with Playmates, the same wonderful people that give us Ninja Turtles, and he made Wildcats. And not only did he make the toys, that's right. What? You're supposed to
what?
play it, Michael.
Oh,
He made an animated series out of it. Look,
there you go.
look, Michael.
Cartoon. Oh, there you are.
Look, animated
There it
series,
is.
Wildcats. And so yes, the toys were based off of the show, not the comic book, but the cartoon. And here we go. We got the ones I could find right off the top of the show because I didn't have a lot of time to dig. But we got the bad guy Hellspawn, and then I got most of the team over here. We got Zealot, Warblade, Spartan, Voodoo, and Maul there in the back. And these were super fun. I mean, very much old school 5-point articulation kind of characters. Not terrible in the sculpting, but for the time it was pretty cool. And I dug it. Like I said, I really liked what Jim Lee did, and I loved the comic book. The cartoon was really funny, and what Mikey was playing there, it was probably the best part of that whole animated series was the opening theme song, which is a banger. I mean, I don't understand how most people don't remember this thing, but
Such
hit
a
him.
jam.
Hit him.
Such a jam. You can groove out. Wait if you want to. Let's still pissed off playing this.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, screams 90s.
It's not a
But-
rap. He doesn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't
sorry
even
about
hear it.
that.
I can't even register. Just
Like, what
Here
the
you
fuck
go.
is that noise? It says
We'll listen to
noise.
We'll listen to J. Cole after the show.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, man, these were awesome. I had these. I think I took your collection and you recouped your figures.
Yeah. I have a couple of these that I picked up more recently. Not super recently, but I did get was able to get other versions of it. Like I think this Zealot is like a variant version. I think the original one had like a swimsuit. This one actually has pants. And the Warblade here has chrome. The normal one did not have chrome, or as we call vac metal, but this version did have the vac metal. So just really cool versions. Love this character line. I would love to see it come back, but unfortunately Jim Lee sold his Wildstorm label to DC Comics. Try to do something with that, never really took off. But we did get this. So like I talked about how I always wanted Jim Lee to give
I thought
his
this was just a Google image.
No,
Give
man,
it.
this is
Oh my god, look
collection.
at this
What are you
guy.
talking about a Google image. Get that
So
shit out of here. You're like, why is the Google image moving?
No, I
why
didn't,
is
it
the
wasn't
Google
moving.
moving?
Why
I
is
thought it
it
was
Probably
a Google
the
image.
most
a 3D
the
Google
most
image? What's going on?
probably the most popular character was Grifter, kind of based off of that kind of like anti-hero badass, kind of like a Wolverine. And he was probably the most popular of the characters after they transferred over to DC. And McFarlane was able to make the modern Grifter here, and you see it
Yeah.
standing here next to it. And he's actually pretty neat. He doesn't have his long trench coat from the '90s, but he's still pretty dope. That's why I would love to see this figure get a redo. Talking to a Loose Collector or any other toy manufacturer out there, let's get the original Wildcats back out there. I don't know what the
The rights issue
licensing
with that. But
rights would
if
be,
it's DC
but
and
man,
Jim Lee is the head of of comics
yeah,
or whatever at DC, I mean, feel like that's like a easy win to make these Wildcat
I
figures
know.
at some
I would
point.
love it. I think there's a lot of guys who would love it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm alone.
I'd buy all those.
You are not
Super
alone.
cool. And you are not alone. I hope not. I hope I'm not alone, and I hope we get other people interested, and I hope someone decides to do this. I mean, we're getting RoboCop, pseudo villains,
Yeah.
so why not Wildcats?
We're getting a full lineup of RoboCop villain, which is crazy to think. But yeah, Wildcats obviously they're like super toyetic, if you want to use that, but they fit the mold for figures. Wait, what you got for the yellowing?
Well, to stay with I switched my my pick here. I had something lined up here, but I switched it just to kind of keep in line with what Ed was
Oh,
talking about there.
thank
But
you.
we got the legendary comic book heroes
Nice.
Ripclaw,
Ooh,
and he would fit in
Mark
with the.
Silvestri's Cyberforce. Love this one. Another one I would love to see. I think this was part of that legendary superheroes one. This is that legendary
Yeah,
one because I know McFarlane did one too, didn't he?
he did in the 10th anniversary
That's
uh,
right. Okay, yeah.
wave he had.
So cool.
That's where he had that articulated spawn and savage, and then that savage dragon, which was a statue basically.
Right. That's right.
oh, that's right. Yeah, that Spawn though. That's still the best Spawn he's ever made.
Damn, it
Yeah.
might be.
I love
Honestly,
that one.
Honestly, it was great. Like everything they included had an amazing base. The figure was super articulated, had real chains and everything. It was the best of everything McFarlane had ever done up to that point, and just in terms of like where it was gonna go. And then yeah, it's such a great figure. I had also a Halloween Spawn. I forgot the name of the actual figure, but that was super articulated. But I remember that all those figures and the Ripclaw was super cool.
Were you a fan of Cyberforce, Wade, or was that one
No, this was
yours
just
just
based.
toy?
This is just from the toy. Like I just like the toy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really cool toy. Very cool character. That's kind of like Cyberforce's Wolverine. He was fantastic. He was like Native American.
Oh,
Super,
that's
super
awesome.
yeah, he was
Oh,
a
there
super,
you
super
go.
cool character. And yeah, those are the ones I'd love to see come back.
I didn't
Mark
know that.
Silvestri also did a lot. Cyberforce was another really, really awesome team from Image Comics. And man, I'm just such a sucker for that stuff. There you go. The more you know, guys.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Get so
Blast
spooked.
from the
Man.
past. So jittery.
He's
What
so
is it?
jittery.
What are we?
All these noises coming from.
Oh, great stuff, guys. Thank you for showing me those figures. Those are awesome. Those bring back some real good, damn good memories, especially the Wildcats and especially the Ripclaw. I remember seeing that Ripclaw and thinking how dope he was. So,
Yeah.
man, a lot of stuff we talked about, a lot of things I would love to see. Hopefully, we get those. Hopefully, all this gets behind us. We'll have a new normal at some point. But man,
Get
it'd be
that
nice
odious figure made.
the odious figure made. We'll get the best, tiniest little hands to help you out if we need to. So,
The
absolutely.
raggediest, smallest little children we can wrangle
We
up.
can wrangle and throw in the burlap sack and dump them in your garage.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna go to the motherland and look for people to make toys.
are you going to
That was an option.
Mexico?
Mexico, yeah, Mexico. There's Hasbro moved some manufacturing to Mexico, so there
I
is.
was gonna say there are
There's
some Mexico toys I've seen produced, so might be an
Yeah.
option.
That's an
Might be
option,
good
but
to know.
that's at a point where I have to accept just starting over.
That's true. That's true.
We're not there yet, man. We're not there
Not
yet.
exactly. Not quite there yet. We'll get there. I mean,
Keep it hoping. We'll get there.
no, I'm saying like if I have to get there, I will. Like I'm not gonna stop doing odious stuff.
Of course
but,
not.
Yeah.
No, that's the goal, baby. So
Yeah.
I'm not calling you baby. I'm just saying that's
You're
the
calling the babies the future employees babies.
Yeah. Come on, babies. Let's get to work.
Get to work, babies.
You gotta scout them early. When you see talent, you gotta make sure you're right there.
I told you.
Gotta
Let
get
me
on it,
know.
yeah.
I'll send my son over there. No problem.
All right, perfect.
He,
Build like a
he-
tank too.
he
so
needs to
can
learn some discipline.
yeah, exactly.
Smack his hand with the ruler if the
Yeah.
lines are off.
He's good work ethic needs to be driven into him.
Yeah.
I know it's a new age, and so we got to follow the new style of parenting. No more that woke nonsense.
Yeah. Well, gentle
Soft
parent.
parenting.
Make beatings great again.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh man, there's an awesome photo you posted away of you at I have it here. Yeah, it was just like it was you like happy. I've never seen you happy before.
I was very happy at the Warriors game. I was having a good time.
This is before the actual game happened.
This is before they lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when I was convinced they were going to win. I would have bet any amount of money that they were going to win this game.
Well, I mean, you did because you spent the money to go to the game.
We
So.
spent a lot of money to go to that game. But we had fun though. Like, I mean, obviously it sucks that they lost, but we had a good time. Like, I was really excited to get those playoff shirts. That was cool.
Yeah.
I bought a really cool hat that had like hey, do you want to grab my hat real fast? Rather than explaining it. It's got some Mexican shit going on, so it's pretty cool. And then what else happened there? Oh, we ate a bunch of food. That was cool. Last time we went to a Warriors game, I went after work and it was very like spur of the moment, so we didn't get a chance to eat. Actually, we were late to the game, all that. So this one here. Oh, yeah.
He has his
This
child
time we got-
employees bringing product.
Yeah.
You're asking your child employees to bring you product.
I know
doing
this
it
is
for
your
years,
job,
but I mean, if there's something you're gonna send your child to, obviously it's this guy.
Look at this.
Oh, that's cool.
That is nice. That's very cool.
Okay, leave it on the camera. Load up.
That's dope, right?
That is very dope.
Very cool.
And then for the WNBA, Golden State has the Valkyries, so my daughter bought a Valkyries hat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we want to get.
Do you watch WNBA? Do you guys watch it?
I watched the championships or like some of the playoffs and things like that, but there's no local team to root for until now.
Yeah.
Now that there's I wasn't gonna root for an LA team, and like I didn't want to like that would have been the closest, So,
So tell us, Wade, Caitlin or Angel Reese?
oh yeah, Caitlin Clark, she's crazy. Angel Reese is just kind of there, but the whole, I mean, it was weird because when they were both in college, like they were killing it, right? They had some back and forths and whatever. I think Angel Reese won the championship, but like they came into the WNBA and it was supposed to be like like oh they're gonna bring like a whole new thing. And I think as far as that goes, they were both equally as important. Like they were both part of that. But at the end of the day, I mean, Caitlin Clark is just way more skilled and shit.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I like.
You know, come
like
down to you like Caitlin. Yeah. She's
oh yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah. I've been watching a lot of that, and she's just phenomenal. She's great.
I seen her get a block on someone the other day. I was like, damn, I didn't know she played defense like that. She like blocked the shit out of somebody.
You're like, I didn't know women could do that.
Yeah. But her boobs. No.
How does that work?
Yeah. What about
Ice physics?
Yeah.
Not natural.
Like, won't one of them pop or something?
Yeah. No, but she blocked the shit out of somebody. I was oh damn. But yeah, hopefully there's someone on the Valkyries that I mean, again, I want to watch WNBA and I want to root for a team. So hopefully the Valkyries are good. Hopefully there's some kind of standout player that we could get behind and stuff. Like we were looking at jerseys. My daughter, it would have been cool to get my daughter a jersey, but we don't know any of the players, so it's kind of like we'll get there though. So we plan on watching. I think the preseason started today, and I think the season opener's next Friday. So
all right. Well, if you ever want to break down WNBA, you know the place to come. So we'll be here.
Oh yeah, you guys big WNBA fans?
Nope.
No.
But this will be the one and only time we talk about WNBA.
All right, perfect.
So, yeah, we'll bring it up. Maybe we'll see if it comes naturally.
We'll
I
see.
wanted to
They
bring
start
this
playing
up.
in like lingerie or something, right?
Well, I mean,
What? No, no.
what?
You guys
You
hear
Put
that?
it out
you
there.
I got a house full of women, huh?
do you remember there was a football lingerie league? I think it lasted like a year.
Oh
or two.
yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? Do you ever see that, Wade?
Nah, I
The
didn't see that.
problem is like they all get like busted and bruised and stuff. It's just not. It didn't really lend itself well for that kind of thing.
It's not
They would
feasible,
actually
yeah.
hit each other. No, they would tackle the shit out of each other.
It was
They
pretty
wore
brutal.
helmets and padding and nothing else, but they would just destroy each other.
Jeez.
It was legit. It was legit. So I saw this study. I just wanted to bring this up. It says, I don't know why there's an AI Kendrick Lamar pointing and laughing, but do with that what you will. The study finds friends who playfully roast each other are more trustworthy and honest, and I just think that applies to all of us here. Really,
I'm gonna call BS on that because Mikey
Yeah.
is the most lying piece of shit. Just-
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, I thought there was some truth to it, but I guess not.
No, there's no truth to that. Hell
There's
no.
no truth to that at all.
No,
But I
hell
feel
no.
like we roast each other pretty, playfully.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean I won't rob you or steal from you or lie to your face and do. That doesn't mean anything. I'll still backstab
don't
you.
give Mikey your PIN number. Just
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
I mean, if a fake AI Kendrick Lamar doesn't convince you of that, doesn't do
I know
anything
you
for
too
you.
well, Michael.
That's crazy.
Like, you can't do that. You can't do that to Kendrick. This is like some neighbor that lives in the suburb with you or something.
What is this? What it says entertainment on the what is I don't understand any of this. It says entertainment. Study
I
find.
Yeah,
think that's
it's from
something Mikey-
Entertainment News Corp.
Mikey generated that to make you lower your defenses, Wade. So
I tried. It
okay.
didn't work.
It didn't work.
don't
I'm
fall
more
for it.
defensive than ever.
Don't let him fool you, man.
Oh,
I thought the pleasant-looking Kendrick Lamar would make you feel,
Oh, that's
at
got
ease,
Mikey
but-
written all over it.
no, unsettling.
Little beady eye gave him away.
Dead giveaway, baby. That's me. Yeah. Well, man,
Thank
appreciate
you, Wade,
you
for
coming on the
being.
show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let him have it, Michael.
No. You were say your
Oh, no,
platitude.
Thank you. I was just saying thank you, Wade, for being here, for sharing your bountiful knowledge of the toy world. And
Yeah,
we
debatable.
really
Thank you for having
appreciate you doing that. And we tell most people that come on the show, we'd love to give you all the toys, that we showed on here. But right, Michael?
But figures are not included.
Oh, damn it.
Maybe next time, buddy.
That's the only reason I came on here to get some toys.
No, but figures not included. It's the name of the show.
Maybe I would have known if I would have known the
It's
name.
in the name of the show. Wade, I'm sorry.
Right.
We've been doing it for
Thank you.
2 months. We told you about the show, and you refused to watch or acknowledge our existence.
I
So if you
watched
knew that before coming on, you would know you would get no figures.
I watched a couple.
You watched the early ones that were really bad.
Oh, they've gotten better. Okay, I'll watch this one.
That's debatable, but we like to think. that.
Yeah.
No.
We don't know that for sure.
Well, like and subscribe, everyone. Enjoy your day. Again, figures not included. Thanks to Wade for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Odious.
Oh, we're supposed to say one more thing. We're supposed to say something else.
Well, Mikey was supposed to play the banger, and he totally forgets everything we talk about before the show.
That's not true. I remember like 90% of it, which is a lot.
For you.
But I'll play the banger once we're like signing off. They'll just play in the background.
I thought that's what we were doing right now.
Yeah, we're signing off. We're supposed to say something else. Oh, what is?
I want to get copyright stricken with this song. And I don't want Wade to look annoyed the whole time.
What are they saying? I liked in the '90s where they had like obscure one-hit wonder rappers doing theme songs, like Tone Loc. Remember?
Tone Loc?
Remember? Yeah, he did Steve Bear and Jamal.
He did?
He was the voice of the Bear too.
Oh. It's like some weird random hip hop knowledge that no one else knows.
Yeah.
Mikey was more of a Bone Thugs and Harmony kind of guy.
Oh, nice. I like Bone Thugs and Harmony. They weren't
Yeah.
doing any kids shows though.
No, that
They
did
weren't?
Not in the '90s.
This is the best sign off to a show I think that's ever happened in the history of shows. By the
Oh,
way,
we're still fucking.
Yeah.
Jeez. I thought you stopped when we all said bye.
Mikey
No,
keeps jerking us around. I don't know what he's prolonging this for.
I'm still trying to convince you that we can be friends and playfully rib each
He
other.
still wants you to give him your PIN number.
Come
Okay.
on, man. Give it to me. You can trust me, dude. I'm honest and trustworthy. I'm as honest and trustworthy as an AI generated Kendrick Lamar picture. So
Presented by entertainment.
presented by entertainment.
That's all it says. This is real study, guys.
All
It says
right.
it right there.
Goodbye,
Entertainment.
everyone.